Hello. Thank you for joining me on how to securely exchange data outside your enterprise. My name is Phil Michaud from PROSTEP, and feel free to contact me at any time, and we can talk about more details as you like. So first of all, the challenges of understanding how to manage your data breaches and protecting your intellectual property. Some of the key items is first understanding your landscape. So who's using your applications? Where are your users? And what data is traveling where through your electronic landscape? Securing your data where and when it is needed. And probably the first thing is to focus on your external personnel, your external users or data access from external. What you want to do is also look at providing versatile user interfaces. Use the existing applications that you currently use today on a day-to-day basis and extend those to manage the data being transferred securely using advanced encryption. Right? There are different ways of encrypting your data and knowing how much of it you need to encrypt and when you need to encrypt it. So it's very important that you take that into consideration in your solutions. Try to automate your business processes so people aren't using, file shares like FTP or things of that nature. So use your business applications to manage your processes to secure your intellectual property throughout the process. And also have a security plan. And we'll talk a little bit about what that security plan needs to entail. So agenda, we want to talk about understanding what intellectual property is and understand how it might be stolen. Define some solutions to help mitigate your loss of intellectual property. Introduce some implementation tools to deploy your intellectual property security across your enterprise. And then talk about some enhancements that you could take into your everyday processes to enhance specific IP security needs. So first of all, let's talk about what is intellectual property. Could be a multitude of things, maybe trade secrets, patents, recipes, customer lists, reference materials, some of your intellectual processes that are unique to your business. All of these can be considered intellectual property and need to be protected and for the company you're working for. What is the value of intellectual property? That is the $12 trillion question, and there's always a potential of intellectual property being stolen when you're transferring key data, especially items that you've qualified as intellectual, and understanding that the more information is out there, the longer it's out there, the higher the risk of your intellectual property being lost or stolen. How is some of your intellectual property being lost through your organization? And there's a multitude of different items that could play a role here. Simple carelessness, right? Somebody not using VPN as an example to communicate across, partners. Somebody accidentally sending an email with some intellectual property in it to the wrong person, or maybe even during somebody interviewing for a new job for a competitor of yours, or you have maybe somebody who is a little bit disappointed in your organization or a supplier that no longer is working for you. How do you protect that type of information? And then there's typical people just searching the web or sending spam emails and things of that, phishing emails to see if they can gather any information out of it. One of the things that you need to understand in the loss of intellectual property may not be purposeful. Somebody is sniffing a communications across organizations, or somebody's using an FTP site that is not secure. Somebody putting something into Dropbox, and Dropbox happens to get compromised for one reason or another. There's a bunch of ways that IP can be stolen or lost. So you probably want to steer away from a lot of these functions if you can qualify your IP items and qualify that they don't get into these types of structural data storage. So let's talk about defining some of the solutions to help mitigate your loss, right? So the goal of protecting your IP is making sure you get the right information to the right person at the right time in the right format, no matter where they are. But that introduces a multitude of things, right? So are we always using VPN for accessing your data? Are you always using a secured method to translate your information? Are you encrypting your data? All of these play a role in making sure that you meet your goal of exchanging your data, especially your intellectual property data. So what can we do to help control it? Again, we talk about identifying your strategic data, as I listed earlier. You know, what is it that's IP that should be qualified as IP? Understand where your users are and looking at it from a very holistic approach. And so that's just looking at your data and your personnel. But you also have to understand your landscape is what are the systems that people are using on a day-to-day basis to be able to manage and secure your intellectual property, and how is that data being transported from system to system. You want to be able to interrogate your security model and provide some type of flexible security model that, because there may be different needs based on where the data is going, whether it's staying internal within your enterprise or going external, and then securing that data to make sure that you understand that the data is secure no matter where it is, and that by doing this using a scalable security model. So as maybe today there is low-level IP on a particular data element that you have, but as you move forward, something new comes up, and all of a sudden that data now needs to be protected. And then have an exchange plan, right? So think about an adaptive security architectural strategy, identifying your documents within your data plan, and tracking against that, so as you know where your data went, who accessed it, and why they accessed. So again, we talk about identifying, you know, your intellectual property and looking at it from a holistic approach. So, you know, what, where, who, when, why, how, and then looking at what is it that I will need to protect. Understanding your landscape. Your landscape may include different locations on your WAN. It may include your suppliers at a, outside of your enterprise, or, other partners, maybe a customer of yours. So, really understand what data it is that's being moved, and where is that data being moved to, and how can I secure it. So by interrogating your security model, you want to really understand the different levels that could play a role in defining that security model, right? So the smallest organizational unit being your file, so an individual file. Can I protect an individual file from somebody not being able to access it, even if it's outside my enterprise? The answer is yes. But the effort in order to manage that may be higher than if you limit users to a file vault, and whereas you can now encrypt this information and you can control data access to that file vault. So you need to understand, your users, the groups that they belong to, because you may be able to secure things from a group's point of view and not individual users, which could make things much more easy to manage today and tomorrow. Having a flexible security model that is scalable. So again, I had mentioned earlier that maybe some files you don't need any encryption whatsoever, but maybe tomorrow that changes, right? So how can I transfer that level of encryption and go to the next level without causing, a restructuring of all of my data and processes? If you have a data exchange plan that looks at an adaptive security model and architectural strategy, this should include your data and identifying the strategic data that needs to be secured. You need to simplify your user experience. So make it easy. If somebody is using email to send a protected file or secured file to a supplier and they're using email, that's fine. There are tools out there that can, under the covers, capture that and secure the transfer of that data and make sure that only the correct person at the other end opens the file, as an example, and using automation. So don't make it difficult for your user community to protect intellectual property. The system should do it for them, so as they're not having to, what I would call, swivel chair from this application to this other application in order to send this particular file because it's secure or it's protected by IP, right? So use automation and leverage the tools that you have and build something behind the scenes to secure your data. Also, in your strategy of building this adaptive security model, have an opportunity to be able to report what data went where, who received the data, when did they receive it, when was the last revision done to this particular file. So you need to be able to not only understand your data, but also be able to report against that data and audit against it. There are some additional tools that you can take advantage of, right? So if you look at some versatile user interfaces, right? So you want to be able to embed processes to your existing application. You need to make this from an easy deployment point of view, so as your users aren't having to, again, swivel chair back and forth, and it has to be highly high adoption rates for using the existing applications that you have and extend it to protect all of your IP. There are ways to protect your data once it leaves your organization via email, as an example, right? So you can limit who can see what, who can save, who can print, who can copy. If that's, if you want to get to that level of security, you have that ability to extend that security outside of your organization. It also gives the opportunity to, have named users for access. You'd be able to revoke those rights later if something is sent out and now a new version is available, or it's something that you don't want to share anymore. So there's ways to be able to manage who sees what, whether it's internal within your organization or external. There are some encryption tools out there that help you, secure your data using file encryption. Again, we're looking at an adjustable security model, so maybe you want to introduce some two-factor authentication in some situations, whereas maybe in others, just an automated key management solution would be enough to cover your specific needs. And it's based on understanding, again, who your users are, where your users are in your organization or external from your organization, and what access do they absolutely need to be successful to perform their work. There are some automation tools out there, things like agents or gateways or robot processes, background processes, to be able to confirm validity of your secure data and manage those security needs throughout the process from inception all the way through final delivery. So there are some enhancements in your strategies, right? Here's an example here of transparent versioning. So let's assume you had a release of a CAD document to a supplier so as they can actually build it and it was revision A, and you sent it on January 1st. Here you are, February 1st, it's now revision B, and you want to make sure that your supplier is working on your latest revision. We could actually build a model so as when you send out revision B, anytime they would access revision A, it would phone home and say, oh, revision A is no longer valid, so we take it out of production and replace it with revision B. We advise the user revision B is now the most greatest version, or the latest and greatest, and that they should be working with revision B, and revision A is no longer available. So there's an opportunity here to use versioning and really manage who has the right design or the right document at the right time. There's the use of blockchain technology. Basically, it's a decentralized data ledger that now can confirm and audit the process of as this particular file or set of files are sent through your organization. And with blockchain, it's a record that cannot be altered and can provide you the reporting needs that you may require to confirm that you're staying within your expected delivery of your intellectual property. Secure additive manufacturing platform, or sample. So this would be used in the context of maybe 3D printing. So let's say you have a CAD model that's available for 3D printing. With sample added manufacturing platform is you can tell which printer has authorization in order to print the part, not just anybody, because there's a phone home opportunity that's introduced here that says when the printer says I need to print this particular part, that you can confirm that it's the right printer printing that part. And not only that is you can verify quality of that printed part as it's being built. So from a sample platform, you're looking at trusted 3D printers, no different than a trusted user within your organization. And you can now prevent pirate copies because of this phone home opportunity that you have. And now it's designed for on demand. So you only make the part when you need it. Again, reducing need for inventorying different parts that potentially could be obsoleted eventually, and there's a level of quality control that you can introduce to these print services with a verifiable authenticity of the results. So here's a quick example of using a strategic security model using blockchain. So, we have a company that has a plane that ordered from Airbus, and they need a spare part. So they would make this request for the spare part to Airbus using the Airbus catalog. And with that, Airbus would now verify that they, A, are an authorized supplier or consumer of this particular part, and give authorization to actually print the part. And this part may be printed by a third party for all we know, but that's okay because they're all involved within this communication channel within blockchain that provides you this production of the sample part. So now we can confirm that the right printer is printing the right file and confirm that the quality of the part was completed correctly, and that can be communicated to the supplier or the customer. And then once that's confirmed, that part now is delivered to the customer, and the replacement can take place. And not only that is now you have all of the information in order to track payment and confirm payment for the particular part that was produced. Lastly, we're talking about reporting and being able to report, who received what and when and why. And there are some tools out there that are available that can give you that type of information. that can be extracted and formatted into Excel, as an example, for reporting purposes, or any other reporting tool of your request. But by doing this, it allows you to monitor and really audit your strategic strategy for securing your intellectual property, and being able to confirm that your IP is protected and is continually being protected. We talked a little bit about what intellectual property is, and talked a little bit about how it can be stolen, and whether it's purposeful or by accident. Defining a solution to mitigate your loss, hence coming up with a strategic plan to mitigate your IP losses, and introducing some tools to deploy your IP security model across your enterprise, while making it easy to use your existing applications. And we talked a little bit about enhancing some enhancement strategies, such as blockchain or sample, that could help you extend your security model throughout the process. There's also, digital rights management to protect your documents as they're being sent out, even if it's a PDF. So there are a bunch of strategies out there to help you use your existing applications and leverage your existing applications with automation, with extension tools, that basically takes the security of protecting your IP out of the hands of your users and puts it within the day-to-day processes of your existing applications. So, leverage your existing applications. Using transparent versioning can help. Blockchain, sample, two strategies that can help you qualify your IP protection model, and then being able to report against it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me, and looking forward to hearing from you in the future.